Good morning, good afternoon, good night. It is Friday, July 10th, 2026. I'm 27 years old and it's me, Jordan. I have this cute golden horse clip. Clip. What is it called? It's like a pin. It's like a brooch kind of thing. I genuinely was thinking about putting it on my sweatshirt for fun, but it just looks so weird that I couldn't do it. But I swear I think my boyfriend got me this. I think he found it at like a thrift store. And I was like, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. So, and if you know me, I love me some little like charm things. You've got really nowhere to put it, but it's cute and it's charming, you know? No, I'm just kidding. I could put this on like a purse or a bag. I've done that before where I got like a pinned it to my purse. Actually, that really only worked with the last purse I had because the last purse, one of the main purses that I used for a really long time was like a denim fabric and I put pins on it, which was cute, but I don't use that anymore. It's the biggest purse known to man. And yeah, anyways, I love little charm things though. Next to me as well, I have this like what I would call a desk charm. I don't know. It's a little lighthouse that I got at a thrift store. And I had just returned from Gloucester, Massachusetts, which is just like a sweet little coastal town. And when I saw this at the thrift, I was like, this was meant for me. And it's going to remind me of Gloucester and being by the ocean. That was the most random opening. That was the most random way to open this. And for anyone listening on audio, sorry, because you can't see anything I'm talking about. But just imagine a tiny gold horse brooch that's really cute. It's all gold. And then imagine a small little lighthouse made of glass. That's pretty much it. That's it. It's Friday. I've already had my espresso. Sometimes when I get to going in the morning and recording these little things, I haven't even had my espresso yet. I already drank that. Now I'm just here and I'm caffeinated up, and Friday really does feel different sometimes than like every day of the week has a different feeling to it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. And Fridays typically feel so free and open and fun. Even if I have a lot of work to do on a Friday, it still just feels different. Today is one of those days I don't have as much work that I really have to do. I've kind of caught up on quite a lot of things, and I'm totally just like oversharing. Hey, this is whatever. It's like a little video diary. I'm documenting for myself. I have to remind myself of that. I'm just documenting stuff. It's not that deep. Anyways, I already got a lot of work done this week. And like I actually got stuff done way faster than I thought I would. And I was like, so really I'm ahead right now, and I will work today. I will get some stuff done, and I'll be working ahead on stuff for next week, which always feels so good to be kind of ahead of the timeline that you thought you would be. So yeah, for now I was just like, I'm just going to sit here and chat for a minute. Cause like, I feel like I got time today. I've got time. This morning I woke up. Girl, okay, let me just be really real with you. I went to dinner last night with a couple of my girlfriends, and it was so fun. It was just really a good hangout. Like, we had really good food and chatted so much, and it was so, like, they make me laugh so much, and it was a great time. I literally had one beverage. I had one adult beverage. One. Just because, like, it's kind of nice to have with dinner. One drink is all I had. And sometimes when I go out, I don't drink at all because I know what is bound to happen. I went to sleep last night. I was so tired, exhausted, woke up around 2:30 in the morning and was just tossing and turning. I fell back asleep, but my sleep was so disturbed. And then I woke up at 6 this morning and I was like, God, please help me fall back asleep. I don't want to be awake right now. It's too early. Like, it's too early for me to be up. And I felt it, like my head and my eyes. You know when you wake up too early and you're like, I'm still too tired. I need more sleep. Thank God I finally fell back asleep for a little bit. Really got up around like 7:30, but man, I had actually talked to my sister about this not that long ago, how even just having one beverage, you could have a glass of wine, you could have a beer, I don't know, you could have just one drink, one, and it'll mess with your sleep. And it does that to me. It may not do that to everyone, but it does that to me and my sister. And I was just like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It makes me like never, ever, ever want to have any alcohol because for me, it's just not worth it. And I need a good night's sleep. So I woke up and I was oddly motivated though, even though I was tired. I was like, I want to work out. I want to lift weights and move my body. So I did a little workout, lifted some weights, just like my little dumbbells. Actually, they're not little. I got some that are like, you know. No, I've got a good assortment of dumbbells that I use. That's really nice. And I did a little workout this morning. That felt good to just get out of the way. And then I sat down and I was like, I could just jump right into work. Some days I do that. Some days I like to kind of do something a little different to start my morning. I'll journal or I'll read or something. Today I was like, I want to take a journey through Midjourney. If you don't know what Midjourney is, it's been around for a little while now. And when it first came out and everyone was talking about it, I tried to figure out how to use it and I didn't know how to use it, and I still don't quite, like, I'm just playing around with it. But when it first came out, I was trying to explore with it because I saw people would post these things on like Instagram and wherever, but mainly on Instagram. I saw a lot of this where people were creating these really cool AI generated photos and they were like, I made this on Midjourney. And I was like, that's so cool. I want to do that. And then I tried and I still don't quite, I'm just dipping my toe in. So I still don't quite understand how people really utilize it. But this morning I just kind of wanted to dip my toe in. And I was playing around with that a little bit, but it's so interesting to me because I do follow at least one account on Instagram that I'm pretty sure all of their work is like AI generated, which I didn't realize when I first found them. But then over time I was like, huh, like it just started to click. I was like, oh, I think this is made with AI, probably Midjourney. But I really like they have a very specific style. And that's the thing. And I used to follow someone else. I don't know if I follow them anymore. Maybe I do. You know how when you follow someone on Instagram, sometimes they fall off the face of the earth. You never see them again, and it's the algorithm's fault. I feel like I followed someone else a while ago when I first found out about Midjourney, who was doing like really cool style of like AI creations, and their whole account had this specific vibe to it. Same thing with this other person that I was just talking about, this other artist. It's so interesting to me how they have a whole Instagram account dedicated to this very specific style of imagery, and there's certain recurring themes of like this person that I follow, he uses a lot of horses in his creations, so that's like a recurring like thing, creature in his work, but he has a very specific style. And I'm like, I think I just need to do some research because I don't know how. First off, I don't know how you kind of solidify a style through Midjourney, and then how do you keep creating new images in the same exact style. I think I just am so new to it that I don't understand it at all. So I think I just need to play around with it a little bit more. There's certain features in Midjourney that are pretty cool. Like you can create your own mood boards and then create images based on a mood board that you created. So I feel like that's how you can get very specific with your style. That's the cool thing about Midjourney. People can get very specific with their style. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted to play around with it because I follow this girl on X who is very artistic and poetic, but also very into AI and tech. And she said something along the lines of when she first got started on X, she just was posting like in, in recent years. That's when she got started on posting on X, and she was, excuse me, she was posting um and create well she, I don't know I don't know her whole story, but I think she said something about how she was creating a lot of images in Midjourney and creating this kind of universe in her mind for this character that she kind of wanted to embody and post on X, sort of from this like character arc, this character that she had created through Midjourney. And she was just saying that Midjourney was actually unlocking so much creative thought, so many creative ideas for her. And she basically said something like, I never understood the hate with like AI and making images and stuff like that with AI, with Midjourney, because for her, creating through Midjourney unlocked something that hadn't been unlocked for her before creatively. And that's something I find so interesting. And today I was on there, and I have mood boards that I've already created on Pinterest. Like, you know, girl, I've been on Pinterest for many years. So I have quite a few random boards on there. And somehow when I was trying to create mood boards on Midjourney this morning, and I realized I have certain like different boards on Pinterest that are very different aesthetics, but somehow a character started, like a character or like archetype or something started to kind of emerge out of one of my boards on Pinterest. And I was like, that could be like a character. That could be a character in like a story, or that could be a character that I explore. I don't know. And then as I was creating mood boards in Midjourney, I realized it was actually two different characters and they relate to each other. And I was like, this, I don't know what this is, but this could be something. This could be the start of something that I explore artistically, maybe in my writing. Because you know what? I have written a lot of nonfiction in my life. When I, like growing up, I had diaries and I would just write about my life. I was never very big on fiction. I read fiction. Like I read Nancy Drew books when I was a girl. I read a lot of fiction throughout my early years. Growing up through my teenage years, I really don't know that I got into nonfiction until later. I probably read some nonfiction throughout the years, but I really found that I liked writing nonfiction because I liked just writing from my own mind. And I guess when you're writing fiction, you're writing from your own mind, but it's different because you're writing about a character. You're thinking about a different archetype than yourself. But when I'm writing nonfiction, I'm just writing from my own perspective. And I find that I like to write a lot of nonfiction, and I like to read some nonfiction too. I still like to read a mix of both though. I like to read nonfiction because I like to hear from real people. It's almost like how I like to watch documentaries sometimes because I like seeing real stories about real people and real life situations. But I also really like fiction. I like reading, like, I can get swept up in some fictional books. Like, more than anything, fictional books sometimes are more like entertainment for me than, oh, like I'm learning something from this. It's like, it's a form of entertainment. It's like watching a fictional movie. It's like, you know, watching Spider-Man. I'm not really watching that to like be a film critic. I'm watching it for entertainment purposes. So that's how I feel about a lot of fiction books that I read. I really get entertainment out of it. And nonfiction is just interesting to me because I like getting into the minds of people. But this morning when I was thinking about these different characters, I haven't even given any more thought to it. I literally was just doing this on Midjourney, and then I just started to sit down and record this. So I haven't really given any more thought to it, but it was making me think about all the possibilities of, writing. And maybe I might just explore these characters that have kind of emerged just for my own creative process and like playing around and learning about different characters and how to write from different characters' perspectives. I don't think I'm ever going to be a fictional writer, to be honest. I just don't think that's my medium. Um, but I really like poetry, and I was thinking about, you know, poetry is an interesting form of writing because do you call it fiction or nonfiction? Like how would you label it? And maybe some poetry is one or the other. Maybe some poetry is a mix of both. But I think a lot of poetry is somehow a mix of both. Because you know what? When I read like Mary Oliver, who's one of my favorite poets, when I was reading through her book Devotions, her collection of poetry, Devotions, I I felt very connected to Mary Oliver, but I also know when a poet is writing a poem, maybe they are writing from something within themselves, but they're also writing from somewhere else too. Like, like I don't think that every single thing in Mary Oliver's devotions is verbatim how she thinks and feels about every single thing. Sometimes you write certain things for a poem that serve the poem and the purpose of the poem and that makes sense in the poem. Maybe you write something in a poem that kind of goes against something that you think or believe. So it's this weird thing where like poetry is just weird to me, but like in a really cool and interesting way, where I feel like it's somehow nonfiction and fiction at the same time. Maybe someone can correct me on that. Maybe poetry is its own like separate thing. Maybe you have fiction, nonfiction, and then poetry somewhere in the middle. Um, but poetry scares me because I just don't know. Like I can appreciate poetry when I read it. Writing poetry feels scary to me, but I was thinking when I was on Midjourney and I was thinking about these characters, these two characters that kind of were coming to the surface. I was like, if anything, if I didn't want to write fictional stories about these fictional characters, I could use them as inspiration for poetry and do something interesting with that. But I'm like, I'm just going to be real. Poetry scares me a little bit. I don't know why. Writing poetry feels daunting. And I think it's like with anything, the more you do it, the better at it you become. So if you want to write poetry and you want to get better at it, you just got to write really bad poetry and be okay that it's like kind of bad. And just keep doing it until you get better. But poetry kind of scares me. But this morning I was just thinking about the possibilities for books or things that I want to write, but I don't know, y'all. I feel like this is the artist or writer's dilemma. You just get in your own way, really, because I have certain ideas, but I just don't know. I think I'm just scared. It's not that I don't know how to approach it, because I think if you just figure it out. It's like if I wanted to write a book, I would just start writing the book. And then I would figure out the rest. I would figure out how to put it together. I would figure out how to edit it. I would but I think it's just fear that pops up and paralyzes you. And I think that's what's happening to me. Because, for instance, it's like I was looking at all these Pinterest boards that I've created. And there's very different aesthetics, and I have very particular like names for each of them, and they're almost like their own small little world. And I'm like, as I was looking through those and I was building out these mood boards and Midjourney, and I was thinking about all these different universes, I was like, all of these universes could be like different. This could be like a seed. And this could be, these each could be the start of a book, or maybe they all need to live within one book together. I have no idea. But seeing all of these different worlds in front of me visually, I was like, I could, if I just went in this one little board here, in this one little universe, and I spent time there and I really thought about it, and I wrote about it, and I wrote from that place, from that world, that like I'm sure some sort of project would emerge, like a book would emerge, or maybe it would be part of a book. But I think I just need to start. I just need to start, and that's the scariest part. I love to write, but I get nervous when I think about actually trying to write a book, and also specifically trying to write poetry. So I'm very drawn to poetry, and I feel like I need to write poetry, but it scares me. And in a way, if I'm being really honest with myself, part of me doesn't feel capable of writing really good poetry. And also, I just know the process of writing a book would take time, which like I'm willing to be patient, but it would also take my persistence day in and day out of like every day I'm going to get up and I'm going to put forth effort towards this one goal, this one project. I'm going to focus on this one thing. And I do have a tendency to flitter around and want to do a bunch of different things. But I think it would be so powerful if I really focused, if I fixed my focus on one primary thing and really put forth effort into that thing, and just to see where it could go, what it could become. So, yeah, I think I just need to fix my focus and kick fear in the face and be like, bye. Fear has no power over me. I'm just going to write and I'm going to create and I'm going to do this. But it is a little bit scary. I don't know why. I don't know. So, yeah, it's like I would love advice from people and like, how would you approach this? Or how would you write a book? Or how would you, but like, I feel like it's different for every person. Some writers may have good rules of thumb for like the logistics of writing a book, and but I feel like it's such a personal process, and you have got to just do it. It's no one else's job. That's the thing. It's so easy to, like me too. I'm saying you universally. You will just continue to delay yourself by just continually never ending, like seeking advice from wherever, like seeking advice on YouTube, seeking advice on Google, seeking advice on ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever you use, seeking advice on like, how do I write a book? How do I do this? What's the best practice for this? The more you're just delaying yourself. You're delaying the creation of whatever it is that you're trying to create by just trying to find more advice and more information on like, how do I actually do this? You actually do it by just doing it. Go figure. You actually just do it by doing it. I feel like I need this tough love for myself today. So that's why I'm kind of I'm smacking myself around a little bit with this. Because I need it. Sometimes I need a little tough love. And I'm just going to give that tough love to myself right now. You got to do it by doing it. So just do it. Nike, just do it. I mean, it's that simple. It's annoying that it's that simple. Sometimes we just want to overcomplicate it, and then because we just want to delay ourselves, because it somehow feels safer to delay yourself from doing things that you want to do. Yeah. So I don't know. I think this is just me like putting the ideas out there and trying to smack myself in the face a little bit and be like, girl, if you have these ideas, which you do, and you have all these different worlds that you want to explore, maybe I don't write fictional books, but I'm just saying like these worlds that like maybe I don't know what could come of it. Maybe it inspires nonfiction kind of writing. Maybe it inspires poetry. I have no idea. But I have all these little worlds I want to explore. And it's just like, just do it. Just like, and I think it's really beautiful and safe too. Like a safe place to start is just like journal. Like write about it in your journal. That's what I like to do. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. If I have ideas, sometimes that's just a good rule of thumb. You keep a journal, keep a notebook where you take notes like about life and yourself and the ideas that you have. I if I have big ideas for like a big project that maybe I want to pursue or something that I want to do, I will typically write it down in my journal and just say like this is on my mind and I kind of want to do this and maybe it could be like this, and I just kind of journal it out. But also I find that I did like a whole thing on journaling recently. I talked so much about the power of journaling because it causes your mind to slow down a little bit so you can really like think better instead of typing where you're moving really, really fast. So I think too, even processing through certain ideas or just writing in general, starting in your journal where you're moving slower and you're really giving yourself time to think. I think some of my really good writing that I've written has come first from my journal because I just am taking my time and I'm really thinking through whatever it is that I'm writing. So maybe that's something I need to do is just sit with these ideas, maybe pick one, focus on these two characters that emerged in front of my face today, and maybe just spend some time with them and figure out who they are and what their world looks like, and just start writing about it in my journal and just see what happens. So maybe that's my next step. But yeah, I guess, at the end of the day, if you want to create something, you've just got to do it. It's as simple as that. Don't get in your own way. Don't let fear get in your way. And just do it. All right. Oh, that's my motivation for the day. That just gave me a good kick in the butt. And now I really want to go work on some things and see what happens. Let's see what happens. Hashtag just do it and then see what happens. All right. I'm going to go do some laundry and maybe make some coffee and carry on with my day. Goodbye.